In this video, we will show you how to create a survey using the Crystal Surveys platform. Assuming that you have survey creation permissions for a context, all you need to do is select the option Create New Survey that is in the top of the screen to create your new survey. And the system will present to you a screen where you can enter the survey details. Enter your survey name and select the language that you will use for the interface of the survey. This is the language that the users that are entering data into your questionnaire will see for the survey, and it should match the language that you're using inside the labels in your survey. Scroll down to the bottom of the screen and click on the Save button to save your first survey. I can add questions to my questionnaire by selecting this particular icon, and a drop-down menu will show up with a menu that says Add New Question. I can add questions of multiple types, and in this case I'm going to add a question of type text to request the name of the user. The system will display a pop-up that requires all the information for that question. The first thing that I will need to do is enter a unique identifier for my question. Every question has a unique identifier that distinguishes it from every other question. I can add anything in this particular field, and I will use QQ01 as the unique identifier. Next, I will enter the text that the users will see when they're filling out the questionnaire. And I will make this question mandatory. Once I have selected all the information from my question, I can save it by clicking on the Save button. And the system will present to me the list of questions that I have already entered. In this case, I have only one. I will repeat this procedure and add a second question for my user age, which will be an integer value. I will add a unique identifier and a corresponding label. I will not make this question mandatory, and I will save it. And I will add a third question that is of a type Boolean. I will also ask a unique identifier and the label that reads, "Do you smoke?" I will make this question mandatory, and I will save it. Now the system shows how it has a number of questions that are defined, and I can see what the questionnaire would look like by previewing it. I can preview the questions by clicking on the Preview Survey button. And the system will show me a preview of what this questionnaire will look like to the users. Notice that questions 1 and 3 are mandatory, and I can enter some information into this field to see what the users will see whenever they are entering data. As you can see, the required messages have disappeared. Notice that to the right hand side of the field you have a blue balloon that is showing the question ID and the type. I can add more information into this blue balloon. I'm going to go back to the edit of my questionnaire by clicking on the Edit Back to Edit button. And I can edit a question by clicking on the Edit button for that question. Notice that there is a text box that says hint. If I enter some information into that field and I save that particular question, I will see in the preview that whenever I put my cursor on that field, that information that I entered now shows up on the balloon to the right of the field. This is very useful when you're trying to give instructions to the user as to what they should enter on that particular field. If I go back to the edit and I edit my field again, you will notice that it has also something called a detailed description. I will add some information into this particular field. so that users can have a more detailed description of what you expect in that particular question. I will save this particular field and I will preview my survey. Notice that now to the right of the question I have a little icon, and if I put my cursor on top of the icon, the system will give me a more detailed description as to what is required. And I have completed creating my very first survey.